So essentially, what I want to do is let me pull up. Uh, so we have our editor, right? Let me actually just pull it up. Oops. We have a level editor, right? And essentially, that idea that I want to do is we have this, ability to select entities, and we have this little details pane over here. Um, I want to make it so that in the editor we can attach a script, and then just like we have here. So right here, if an entity has an inventory, you can have this little interface where you can set items in their set which items are going to be in their inventory. What I want to do is I want to add another pane in this sidebar here, which is like add script. And then in addition, I want to make it so that in the editor, I can set entity references, which will be passed to the script when it's run. So that I can just, when I'm designing a level, I don't have to hard code in entity IDs. I can just have that all be in the editor. Uh, so like we'll just have like, this is a sidebar, and we'll just have some sort of like button here, which is like add script, and then you'll have your little inputs, right? So turn that down a bit more. Bit more. Okay. So I actually have a lot of changes that I've got to commit. So let's do that first. Yeah, so let's. All right. So where to begin? I think so. Let's pull up the level editor. So this is the update function. Where is the code for the sidebar? Into the editor side panel. Here we are. Okay, so this is the. So this is the add new entity. Right, and then this is the wander box stuff. Thinking about possible ways to redesign this. Well, we could get really fancy and like, to show an example. Is there like an open recent? So like when you're doing something in Photoshop, right? You can take one of these panels over here and you can drag it out and have it be like a little window. Um, that would be like a nice to have thing later on. Um, It's just that this side thing over here is getting pretty crowded. I guess we'll worry about that after we're doing our current thing. So we got this entity details window. I don't like that. That there's 2 scroll bars in here. It should just be. You know what? It should just be. Should just make. That's the first thing I think I gotta do, because like I don't like the fact that there's like a window and then another window and you have to scroll down. I think there should be 1 scroll bar here for user experience. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to, in this entities section, we're calculating the number of columns, right? Yeah, so we have the number of columns. We're setting that statically. So that'll come up like, and then we just divide the number of different entities by the number of columns to get the number of rows, right? And then where are we setting here? Okay, that's the problem. So we need. So is this getting the width of the window? Can I, in the debugger, open level editor? This is line, whoops. This is line 1262. Go to line control G. 1262. So width. And it can't get it. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. If I explicitly set the type, will it know what to do? If I just do this? Not implicitly of type flows. Okay, width. Still not found. Awesome. Very cool. Okay, guess I just have to print it out. Move 56. So that is just okay. So the concern there was whether or not this width was different than the width of the side panel. So sidebar width, where's this set? Yes, 256. So this is just, you don't really need this. Let's go, and we can just say sidebar width to get the number of columns. And then we can say entity. This can be moved up here. So that we can say entity config. What's the problem here? It isn't. Oh, whoops. How did that happen? The config.length, I believe. Divide entity calls is the number of rows, and then so we just multiply that by 64 with some padding, I suppose. Yeah, this part. So that should be entity. Cast int. Oh. So we don't. I don't think we need that anymore. So let's recompile. Rid of these. No property length. Okay. We could do by key value though. So how can we do by key value without actually knowing the length? It's not actually finding the length. That sucks. There's some way we can shortcut this, because one option is to just, that I don't want to do is just, because, okay, so here's the problem, right? The JSON serializer that I have isn't actually giving me the data that I want in terms of how many keys are at the top level of this JSON file. I need to know how many keys are at the top level, right? That's all I want. And because the JSON parser is lazy, it's only giving you the data that you ask for. Like, the way that you would need to be able to do that to find how many keys are there is to just walk the whole length, right? So I guess I can just do that once. You know what? Screw it. Where's my load config stuff? Is that in the asset file? Load configs. Here we are. Yeah, here's the entity config. I'm gonna add a new variable here, which is int number of entities in config. Screw it. Where are we loading the entity? Here. Equals the walk length. So we're going to need to import range. Yep. Of need entity config by key value. Walk length. Let's see if that converts. Cannot implicitly convert of type ulong to int. Yep. And all we have to do, back over here. Close, but no cigar. Why is that off? Are you gonna screw me over again, debugger? Can you just show me the value? Hey, look at that. Calls is 3. Is it this division that's the problem? We should probably cast those floats beforehand, and then do a ceiling and not a floor. So let's do that. So we want to cast float, cast float, and then we'll say seal. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. 462. That was the same number as previously. So what is going on? We pull this out rarely just to see what the heck is going on. Oops. Don't want that. Actually, no, that's fine. What's going on here? 7. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that calculation is correct. It's just we're not getting the correct. Oh, I guess is it because this is taking up space, the title? Well, we can just add it. Whoop. Hey, hey, no bark. It's okay. Hey. Hey. No bark. It's okay. I know. I know. Bark. Hey. It's okay. I know. It's okay. Hobby. You don't have to bark at every dog that barks outside. You don't. Good girl. Alright, anyway. Let's just... Anyway, what I was about to do... do that. That's too much. It's too little. Perfect. Okay. So now the other problem is that we have the same issue here. I'm just going to make it, we're just going to hard code that value. Okay, so we're still using this value somewhere when we shouldn't. Is the entity details. We're just gonna make this. Well, what are we setting it to right now? Step in. Height 463. I'm just gonna set to 512 because I like numbers, which are the multiple of 2. You lied to me, debugger. Lied to me again. Screw it. Alright. Yes, okay, good. Much better. Much easier to use. Still, the scroll wheel doesn't work, which is very annoying. I don't like that. Oh. Ew. There's a bug. So, correctly, the user interface library makes it so that if your mouse is still down, and you move off of the scroll bar, it still counts it as a event for the scroll bar. But then I'm detecting a drag event over the game window there, which is messing things up. I'll just make a note of that bug. Fix that later. Bug. Sure. Alright, back to the video game. So user interface wise, when we're on a single entity and not multiple entities, I essentially just want a button down here, which is like add script. So close the game, go back to the level editor code. So if entity active entities 1, which is what we want. AI data, inventory stuff. What's the AI stuff? That's like setting the wander. Okay. Maybe I should make this its own section. I don't know. Yeah, you know what? Let's do that. So let's just and we'll come down here. boom, 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 boom. And then do we need a group end call somewhere? Yeah. So we want to say if nk button label so we're adding a new button and we want this button to be I don't know, like 32 pixels tall, and we want the button to say want the button to say add script to entity, right? And this is going to be nk text centered, and then if the button is called pressed rather, we want, how are we going to do this? Well, we're going to have to store this information in the level file, the map file. So over in, let's close these because we don't need them right now. So in the map binary data, which is here, we're going to have to add some new fields. So we're going to bump the version, and we're going to say the you know what? I think it's best actually just put it at the bottom of the file, if I remember correctly. So we need a script ID. I'm just gonna say which script it is, and then we need a script run condition. Script read. You know what? Actually, just be consistent run. All right, and that's going to control how often and when the script is called. So we need to. So we have this is now on the binary data, which is in the map file. Trying to think about how we represent if something does not have a script. So yeah, so there is a none value. It's just the problem is when you load the binary data and there's a new field in there that wasn't there before, I don't think we're zeroing out that field. So there's going to be garbage data in there. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go into here, right? And we should have a special case somewhere down here, right? Okay, and essentially what this is saying, so this, if a new field was added, we're going to zero out, but for a long list of reasons that I really don't want to get into, we're only doing it in specific cases. And one of the specific cases I want to add is if it's an enum and the enum converts to an integer type. So we need a compile time analysis template which tells us what type of value the enum is. So you need to go to std traits is in nope. Okay, enum members. Let's do this. Well, okay. I'm looking for some sort of. The first thing I'm looking for is some sort of compile time thing to tell me if a given type is an enum. How do we do that? Don't see anything in here. How do you know if something's an enum or not? Oh, just like that. Okay. So let's do back in the binary data code. We're going to just have let's break this out. Enum is numeric enum equal to if field type is an enum and is field type implicitly convertible to long or implicitly convertible to long, right? And then we can take this part and we can just say enum is numeric with that. And so we could just say is numeric or is numeric enum, and then that will mean that our new fields are no longer filled with garbage the first time we initialize them, right? So the first thing I want to do here is for debug purposes, I just want to print the value of these two fields, right? So let's just do this. So create a new scope. We're going to say need our char buffer right into, and we're going to say like script. This is going to be the level entity data script ID. We're just going to do the same thing again and say run condition, right? And that's going to print out that information just so we can make sure that we're successfully zeroing the data. No, we are not. Ah, I see the issue. Spawn pattern. Ah, I see, because it's a runtime thing. That's right. I was just wondering why it was doing it for the particles when we haven't touched that code. It's because this is a runtime if, not a compile time if. Okay, so we just need a specific branch. We just need to say else static if is enum, and then we just need to do cast get that. Unclarified 1728. Right, because this stuff is up here. That's right. That's right. Yeah. Hmm. I'm just thinking about how to refactor this so I can reuse this data. I'm tempted to just copy paste right for now, to be honest. I think that's what I'm going to do. Just put a note here. To do clean up. This is copy. Right. Function button label is not callable using argument types. String text alignment. Oh, not allowed to use alignments then. Whatever. Function label. Wait, what? Oh, you do the button label. Oh, no. Yeah. My mistake. Okay. Okay. Alright. Scroll down. It's not being printed at all. Why? What's going on here? This is being printed because we forgot to set the freaking layout. Boo. That's what I say. Boo. So we got. Alright, so this is successfully being zeroed out. Oh. Okay. So we have this debug information. For some reason, it's being drawn from right to left. I don't understand that. Oh, well, because I told it to. That would do it. Okay. So now we have this data inside the binary data, right? So how are we going to do this? Well, conceptually, in the future, we're probably going to be in a situation where we have hundreds, if not thousands, of different scripts, right? Hundreds is probably the right number. So like a drop down of all the possible options isn't going to cut it from a user interface standpoint, right? Unless we have some sort of super special drop down, which is like you can like filter it by typing stuff in. So like a drop down that has like autocomplete, right? But it's still like a list of options. I wonder if that's a possibility. So like if we go over to so like so I'm searching for an example. Da, 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 da. If I remember correctly, the examples that they give, they don't have. Yeah, it's only a make file. They don't have a Windows make solution. Boo. So I can't even open up the example. I just have to go off of the images. You know what? Let's break it down one thing at a time. So the first step is getting anything working at all. So we're all ready for something like this AI code, right? We have this AI wandering box drop down. Let's get something like that going first. So we're wandering, find wandering bounding box. This whole thing. Come down here. I don't think we want. Let's create a new scope, and we're gonna say the script details. All right. Honestly, just that. So we have this level entity data. We want to say if the script ID does not equal script, we need to import the script stuff. So up here, we need to say import scripts. Back down here, and we need script ID dot none. Script ID. Oh, right. Just, yeah, that's fine. Yes. Okay, so we're printing that out, right? And so this is going to be on a new row. Yes, and then pushing the undo state when we're making a change. We're going to be setting the script ID is equal to script none, because this is the code to clear stuff out. Otherwise, down here, we're going to loop over. We want to loop over, actually, all the enum members. Enum members. Spell script ID, right? Right? Okay, yeah, so we're going and looping through all those. So that should give us our drop down menu. Let's try that. Bam, 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 bam. Rolling. Yeah, so we've got. Okay, so that seems to have worked. So if we come over here and we set it to that. Yep, okay, cool. Excuse me. Yep, that seems to be working. For that. Honestly, I don't think we need this part. So we just go with that. What else do we need? We need a way to set the run condition. So essentially, we just need another drop-down menu. So we're just going to copy all this. And we're just going to say script run condition. And how are we going to do this? Well, I think we can just get rid of this at this point. And then cut this, and then just delete this. So script run condition. Copy, down. Condition. New state, come in. That looks good. So now we should have another drop-down menu, which is going to allow us to control when the script runs, right? So if we scroll all the way down here, we should, yes. Cool beans. So we should just come and then come, and if we save and open the game back up, go back to here, scroll back down. Yes. Okay, that data successfully saved. Awesome. Okay. So we got our drop-down menus to control that. We can make this... Well, not yet. Okay. So now what we need to do, we have the data in the binary file for the map data, right? So now what we need to do is we need to go over to the level loading code, and we actually need to make the game respect that data. So first of all, I'm going to go over to the entity config, and I'm going to remove this, right? Because this is going to be set in the level data now. And what we're going to do is we can now just make this generic. Ooh. Before I do that, I need to delete it from the map. I'm going to be changing some stuff. So, delete this, save. So now we can change the name of this entity because it's no longer in the file. Okay. Cool. Just has a graphics component tags, blocks, block site. Cool beans. So, and then back in the here. So this is, yeah, this is the load map code. This is where we are setting all these specific pieces of information. So we're going to say if it doesn't already have a script component, .id, and e.scriptID does not equal none. Script ID none. Then what we want to do is we want to component script component to the namestate entity manager. Then you know what? Actually, we want to do this script component C, and then we want to say ID equals e.scriptID, then c.scriptFrequency equals e.run condition. And then we say that, right? That all makes sense to me. As component, missing this argument. What else? Entity manager entity ID. I forgot the entity ID. E.id base that. Okay. Now go over to entity, add you in, flip you around, put you over here. Then I add this, and then I say this, save. Okay, so your ID is 96. So if I say 96, script component, secret puzzle statue spellcast. Awesome. Awesome. Perfect. So now I should be able to do what I did last stream, which is I should be able to push. If I push you this way, nothing happens. But if I push you this way, you go to that square. Awesome. So now that it's completely being driven by the level data rather than having it hard coded in the um, in the entity config, which is great because it means I don't need a different type of entity for every single script. Awesome. So let's commit what we have. That's progress. Warning, working copy. Moved definition. No, what I should say instead is allow scripts to be added to any entity in the level editor. Okay. So step number 2 is we want to add in a thing here. Well, actually, you know what's really annoying that I really just want to fix right now? Why the heck is the scroll wheel not scrolling that crap? What's going on there? Where's our input code? What's going on? So is this being called open input? Come down here. Here. Set a breakpoint here. We're hovering over this window. Step in. Step in. So why isn't the window scrolling? If we're getting input events here, let's take off that breakpoint. You know, for debug purposes, let's just say right line. Boom. Boom. And then. Oops. So, what does the documentation have to say about this? Copies the last mouse scroll value to nuclear. It is generally a scroll value, so it does not have to come from mouse. Could also originate to do finish this sentence. Awesome. Oh, okay. Is that the same thing as it is in the original file? Yeah. Yep. I don't know why you couldn't have just finished that sentence, but you know, teach his own, I suppose. Is there an example? So if I go back to the nuclear here, I wish I could search in specific folders in here. I don't believe you. I actually don't believe you. I bet you they're just not indexing the file because it's too big. Right? Yeah. See? Liar. Ooh. What the hell? Huh? There must be just some sort of mind virus that whenever you program in C, it just makes you write code which is unreadable. PDB call trail. Awesome. Love that. So is it just because it's too small? Is that the idea? So if I multiply the values by 100, what happens? What now? And I did a full rebuild again. Okay. Oh, I think I saw it move. Maybe it's just my imagination? I thought I saw it move a tiny bit. So, I don't know. What if it's 1,000? Would you do something then? Maybe it's the problem that, like, it's not in a active state? Like this window is now active. Oh! It's because my cursor wasn't exactly over the scroll bar. Are you freaking serious? I thought it was just you had to be over the window. What the hell? That's annoying. Is there any way I can change that? Well, boop this down. 10. So if I'm perfectly over, that's still too little. It should be at least 3 times faster than that. But, okay, so I'm over here and it doesn't work. I'm over here and it works. No, and here. Okay, so we can get rid of. So let's try 30. You know what? You know what I'm gonna do? Not gonna do that. I'm gonna make this value be putting it in the config file. So we're gonna come down here and we're just gonna say mouse wheel scaling. We're gonna say NK scaling. And 30. Then we're going to go over to the config value. Config file. And we're just going to do this. Okay. Then we're just going to take that value. You need, yeah, the config file. We're going to say name config file dot nk. Well, what do we call it? Scroll scaling. Okay, so now that's in the configuration. See, okay, a little bit more. So that should have been hot loaded. Little tiny bit more. That feels better. Okay, cool beans. All right, now we just need to figure out why on earth you have to be directly over the frickin' scroll bar. Where is this used? So this is the NK panel encode scroll bars, mouse wheel scrolling, sub window mouse wheel scrolling. If input this is vertical scroll bar. Doesn't seem to be the code. Hide scroll if no user input. So this is the actual scroll bar behavior. Okay. So this is to do bug, this is just broken. Try to use the scroll bar with the mouse and you'll see. I think I added this. Because I didn't realize that you had to be directly over the frickin' thing. Oh no, wait. This is commenting on a different bug. This is commenting on the fact that if you like just randomly, like it will, I'm clicking and I'm dragging, but just randomly the frickin' thing will just stop. So I'm not letting go of the mouse, it just stops going for no reason. So this bug, this comment needs to be more descriptive. We do bug, this is just broken. The scroll bar will just stop rolling up or down when the mouse hasn't been released. Okay, so that's a different bug. So fluff mouse down, in cursor, what does that mean? In rect. Cursor, what is this? Okay, so this is like page up, page down. And then so where's this called? Calculate scroll bar cursor bounds. this is... I guess it's saying like... Oh, is it? Okay. So this whole thing is the scroll bar, and this gray thing they are calling the cursor. A little confusing because the mouse is also called the cursor. But whatever. Whatever. So, so the cursor is the gray thing. So this is mouse dragging behavior. Where's the scroll wheel behavior? Scroll delta here. We need another window of this. Yes, yes. So left mouse down, left click in cursor. This is not the branch we want. So this is page up and page down. Also not the branch that we want. So has scrolling. Where's that? State input has scrolling. Where is that? This is okay. Oh my gosh. Mouse wheel scrolling. Panel is sub. Has scrolling. Window context active. And layout. So this is like the configuration. So if input and input mouse scroll delta y is greater than 0 and is that just a... Hold on. Hold the phone. Make this a little easier to read for me. So we're setting has scrolling to... What the hell? Okay, so this is... So why... I don't know why we're setting window to scroll not in this branch. What's going on here with this camera? There. That looks better. Okay. So, window... So one of these is the problem. So, what we're going to do is we're going to print both of these out. How... We need the... Okay. The window pointer. So what I'm trying to figure out is one of these two branches is returning. One of these two conditions is returning false. My gut tells me it's this one for some reason. Um, I don't understand why. So, kind of scrolling on the layout. Because if I just put it in a debug print in here, it's going to print for every single active window, which I don't want. I just want... I guess, is there a function which tells me whether or not the current window is active? Is active. NK window is active. Return windows, context.act. Okay. So what we're going to do is go over back in the level editor. We're going to say the window name. Right? What is the name of this window? Is it the top bar? Is the save indicator here? This. Then down here, I suppose, just want to do a right line. Is entity editor okay is active context, right? That's the window is active. Okay, so let's get rid of this. False, 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 true. True, 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 true. So if there's the problem. That's stupid. That is very dumb. Okay, so the bug is that these sub panels inside this window are sort of eating the scroll inputs, and it's not being the scroll. So if I hover over a thing that's not in the sub panel, which are these little labels, it works. But as soon as my mouse goes into an area which is in a sub panel, that input is eaten. That's dumb. We can get rid of this. Okay. Okay. So the issue is sub-window mouse wheel scaling. Only allow scrolling if the parent window is active. That's fine. And the panel is being hovered inside the correct. Deactivate all parent scrolling. So the logic should be only scroll, only eat the input if this sub window actually has a scroll bar, and these do not. So we got is hovering rect input layout bounds and layout bounds and where is it actually? Because I see. Why? Whatever. It's fine. It's fine. Um. So the clip rect in this case is, I'm assuming, like the clip that's sent to the graphics API. And so it's like it's rendering a specific clip of that texture. Hmm. Okay, okay, okay. So break it down. What is the issue? How do we know whether or not a sub panel has hmm, sort of stuck because I don't know the this is going to be like a more of a research project in terms of fixing this. Damn it. So I'm just going to make a note so I can come back to this when I have more time to look at it. So sub panels in each scroll inputs, even when the sub panel does not have a scroll bar. See line 1165 in NK panel. Okay. Okay. So I think we've gone as far as we can go on the scroll wheel thing right now. The other part that I need to add before I finish today is having the entity references. So what we need to do there is that comment's wrong. Fix that. That comment's also wrong. Okay. So back down here. I need some sort of input which allows you to reference an entity ID. So here, so I'm thinking I just use this a standard like integer input. I think that'll be easier than anything else. So because like otherwise, so like in tiled, right? Oh, well, that's no point. What the hell? Oh, because there's XML files in there. Ah, okay. But anyway, the point I was going to make is that when you're doing like object references in here, and like let's say I was to add in an object, right? If I wanted to add in a custom property and it was an object reference, and they have a pretty cool interface where you have the ID here, you can click on another object and it kind of shows you that reference graphically by ignore the missing texture warnings, but you just see there's like an arrow drawn from one to the other. That'd be really nice, but for now I think I'm just going to have it so that there's a place where you can just manually type in the entity ID. So after this, we need to say if level entity, say the script ID is not equal script none. So this is going to be entity references passed to the script. So we're going to come back up here. And there should be inventory. Where is the inventory stuff? Here. Copy all this. Entity reference or so what we're going to do is over back in the definition of the binary file, we're going to add another field. This is going to be entity. This is going to be script entity references, and one thing that we're going to have to do is there's a validate map data function somewhere. Save map, or save data, save data. Save data, okay. Validate entity data, go to definition, okay. So, going to I'm thinking, so essentially what I want to do is, while we're looping over these entities, this is the validation check before we save the map file to disk, right? And the idea that I'm having is that essentially we just want to go through each of these entity references and double check that the entity ID that's actually saved there is in the map. In order to avoid having this be O of n squared, I'm going to need a hash set of all of the entity IDs in the map data. Right? So I'm thinking something like, I need a hash set. So do I have my hash set? I do. So hash set. So this is going to be entity malloc valid entity IDs. Actually, no, I can't use the entity manager data. I need to use the file data because they're different. They could be different. So just for safety's sake. So valid entity IDs. So we're going to have a first loop here, which is just going to valid entity IDs dot insert e dot id. Okay. And so this is just using our deconstructor. So once this goes out of scope, this will be freed, and we're going to say we are going to go over each of the e dot script entity references, right? Entity reference, right? So we're going to loop over each of those, and we're going to say if entity reference not in valid entity IDs, we need to take this by reference. We need to say entity reference is equal to invalid entity ID. Okay, so we're just going to clear that out. Okay, I like that. That is a workable solution. Okay, so we have the script entity references, right? So we need to go back to where we were adding this into the UI. So we're going to say so this is like doing the drop down stuff. I don't think we need any of this. I think all we need is get rid of that too. We need a integer input, and I forget how to do that because I think it's like nk property, right? Property int, integer property. We have an example anywhere. Yes, we do. Here we are. So this. Okay, so the context, label, a min and max value, and then a step. Okay, so let's do warning to generate. Make sure to. Okay. So copy this. So we are giving the context, and then we're gonna say plot this is probably shadowing that other. Yeah, it is. Okay, so we need to delete this, and then we don't need this. We can just use buff pointer. So the min value is going to be 1. We need to change this to entity script entity references. We don't need the increment values, so this is going to be entity these are uints. Is that going to matter? You know what I'm gonna do just to be safe? I think we're gonna int temp equals entity reference cast int, right? And then we're just gonna take the address of that, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna say entity reference equals cast entity temp. I think that'll work. So max is gonna be entity dot max -2. Step is going to be 1, and I have no idea what this does. I think it controls like the slider. I have no idea what a good value for it is, though. They just use 1. I'll just use 1. Whatever. Okay, so I think that's all we need. So that should give us a little widget to set this value. Unidentified 1816. Oh, we do need this. Okay. Okay. So, run. Then come down here. What happens if I save? Right, because it's a uint and it's I go on bet. Boo. Don't like it one bit, I tell ya. Well, I wonder. So, what line is this? This is line 1815. There. Oh, that was interesting. I don't know if you noticed that, but this code was not called until it was actually in view in the scroll bar, which is neat from an optimization standpoint. Anyways. You know what? That's fine. I think we can live with that. So I'm going to come down here. Oh, good thing that notification is covered up by the camera. Anyways. So if I set this to like 10, right? And that didn't work. Let's try that. Shall we? Right? Pretty sure 10 is valid in the data, so if I save that, and then I reload the game, reload the level, come over here, come down here, still 10. Okay, so I think that's all we have to do for the level editor code. Now we need to actually work on getting that data into passed to the frickin' script. Okay, so we need to go back to our entity code. Go to the script component, right? Script ID, script frequency, and we want entity for, and we want to say script entity references. This data comes from the level editor. And then grab this. So over in the scripts file, when we're actually calling it, so I'm hesitant to pass in a pointer to that data because it is highly likely that the script data will add or remove entities or components during its run, which will invalidate the pointer to the script data. So I think I want to do the lesser, the worst, the least, wow, hard to speak. I want to do the thing which is less performant, but makes more sense from a safety standpoint and a future bug thing standpoint. So I'm going to say entity for entity references. And I'm going to say we're passing in the entity references by value. You know what? I'm going to do it. No. Why did you do that? Note. We're passing in the entity references by value here because it's very likely that the script will add, remove entities / components, and that would invalidate the pointer to that data in the script component if it was passed in. And then I always add a date, these sorts of comments, because usually comments like this are out of date by the time that you need them. So it's always helpful to know, like, hey, this was valid back in January 2023, and you know, if you come back to this and it's like March 2024, you're like, this probably isn't true anymore. Let me double check it. Okay, so Shabamzo. Okay, so now we need to go. So this should automatically tell us where this is being called, and then we should get some. So entity 1323. So do we have? this. Okay. And then, additionally, in the create entity code, we want to default these, because this is not going to be, wait a second. No. We do that in the load map. Oh, right. No. By default, here, as a failsafe, we're going to say entity references equals invalid entity ID 4 times. Just in case. And then over in the where's the load map? Here. Entity references equals e dot script entity references. So that should copy that data over. And what's next? We can close this. We can close this. So now, once we get to here, the debug, let's say, let's print this out. Whoops, what happened? Okay. Function pointer, turn actions. Oh, that's right. That is correct, actually. So script data. Okay. Run. Okay. So we have this entity here. It on its script has that script that we were just editing, and it has entity reference of 10. So if we go back and we give the player the push spell, 10. Look at that. Look at that. That is pretty darn cool. Okay, so back in the scripts, get rid of that. We're gonna say add some documentation here. We're gonna say the entity reference in slot 1 is going to be the entity which gets removed once this script is called. Okay. So we need our entities to delete code. Where is this? Entities to create, entities to delete. Need scripts, because we don't want to delete it right away for various reasons. So we are going to say entity references So first of all, we are going to assert, for debug purposes, that entity references 0 does not equal invalid entity ID. And then we're going to say entity references 0. Back there. Okay. So now, we go back into the level editor. Whoop, and that's that stupid bug. I really don't want to spend time right now debugging. Okay, so. So we need an entity which is one of these walls, right? So let's do that in order to get the secret wall stuff to work. So let's open up our entity config. So we need a new entity type, which is going to be it's just going to be wall. You know what? I forgot to add in the display name. How did this? I'm surprised it didn't crash. Huh. What do you know? What do you know? So display name, this is going to be wall. I don't know. Whatever. You know, like wall or script interaction. Script interaction, right? And this is going to be like, you know, script. And I'm going to go up here. It's going to be dungeon wall 01, right? Yep. And then add this up here. Okay. Do the same thing. There's going to be little. Okay. Changes. We need entity. That's the wrong picture. Need, where is the control? Wrong way. There. There we go. Okay. What was I doing? Right. Wrong texture. So door wall. I meant to say dungeon block. Okay, so do we have the right thing now? Yes, we do. Okay, so we're going to come over here. We're going to file layer 2, eraser, delete this, come back to entity, put this down, put this, ooh. Is it just because the X and Y offset aren't set properly? Is that the problem? Like, is it actually what? Yeah, this draw order stuff with the entities is just no bueno. Just no bueno. Um, I don't know. The X, the Y offset would just be like negative 100, right? Because it's half the height. That's right. It's just that there's this, the draw ordering is unstable. So you're gonna get Z fighting. Man, that looks trippy. That's actually kind of cool. But not what we really want. Okay. So anyway, what we want to do is we want to come back here, and then the script. So this entity is ID of 97. So we want to come down here, and we want to say 97. And that didn't work. Why are you being dumb? 97. Enter. Okay. Save. So if we just to make sure the value held. 97. Good. Ooh, I think I actually hit a weird button there. Okay, so now. Hey! Look at that. And the audio bug is still there. Toggle AI. We don't destroy the ears. That would be nice. So to actually make this a secret room. And let's just delete. We're not gonna. We're just going a new direction with this, so we can just delete this stuff. Okay. So crush. I'd like add in a chest, and this chest is gonna like it's gonna have potion, whatever. But you get the idea. So we have now this puzzle where you can push this out of the way. I mean, it's not animated, so that's no good. But I mean, and the path finding is screwed up. That was weird. I mean, that's better. I mean, it's not animated, so it kind of looks terrible, and the draw order is screwed up. But I mean, like, there's a secret room now, and now it's all driven from the level editor, which is really, really cool. Picked up secret, and that's just neat. So that really expands the usability of like the idea of the scripts and the engine. Now I just need to refactor. I need to refactor a lot of the existing code into this scripting framework because a lot of it's just kind of messy right now. But I'm pretty happy with that. I'm pretty happy with the progress that I made today. A lot of it was slow going, but we actually got something usable and helpful in here now. Okay. Well, I'm going to stop there because I'm already losing the ability to focus. So, stream's done.